Okay, so you need the essential info, right? The
Yeah.
really important stuff for keeping industrial equipment in top shape. And you want it fast, without digging through piles of technical jargon and sales brochures. We totally get that. Welcome to another deep dive, your shortcut to understanding.
Right. Today, we're digging into KORR-GUARD. We've got the source material you provided. Think of this as us walking you through it, figuring out what this product actually is and why it might matter for protecting your assets.
Exactly. You send over an FAQ, some promotional stuff on KORR-GUARD. Our mission here is to pull out the core knowledge you need. So by the end, you should have a really clear picture of what KORR-GUARD does, why it could be important for your equipment, its main features. All pretty straightforward.
Sure.
Okay, let's unpack it. Fundamentally, what is KORR-GUARD?
Well, in essence, KORR-GUARD is a specially formulated product. It does two key things. First, it actively pushes water off surfaces, displaces it. Second, it leaves behind a protective layer to stop rust and corrosion from starting.
Okay, so water displacement and protection.
Exactly. Think of it like a shield, a defense strategy against moisture damage, which is a constant threat for industrial beer. And that water displacement is proactive. It doesn't just block, it actually changes the surface environment.
Keeping things dry, definitely step one against rust. But looking bigger picture, why is stopping this rust and corrosion so critical, for equipment life and just day-to-day efficiency?
Yeah, that's really crucial. The sources say it offers unparalleled rust and corrosion protection that directly impacts how long your machinery lasts. Simple as that. Less corrosion, longer lifespan.
Right.
Plus, it helps minimize those unexpected shutdowns, when something rusts through and breaks.
Yeah, those are killers for productivity.
Exactly. So less downtime means better productivity, smooth running machines. Think about the cost savings just avoiding one major breakdown caused by rust.
Absolutely. Downtime is huge. Now, the info also mentions it's good for long-term storage. Lots of places have equipment sitting idle sometimes, right?
Yes, and this seems to be a real strength. It's specifically designed to protect machinery during those inactive periods. Applying it before storage, basically, pauses the corrosion clock.
Okay.
It isolates the metal from moisture and air, meaning when you need that equipment again, it should be ready to go.
Yeah.
Turns stored assets from a potential problem into a reliable resource.
So protection during use and when it's parked. Got it. Now, there are tons of rust preventatives out there. What makes KORR-GUARD different? What's its edge?
The materials really emphasize its superior water displacement. That's one key thing. And its advanced formulation for corrosion resistance. It apparently outperforms typical products because of these properties.
Oh, so?
Well, that initial action of pushing water away, getting to the root cause before corrosion starts, that seems to be the big differentiator compared to, less advanced options.
Interesting. And what about tough conditions, like really high heat? Can it hold up then?
Yep. The documentation says explicitly it's engineered for high-temperature environments. It's meant to keep its protective qualities even when things get really hot, which is vital in some industries.
So thinking about industries, who benefits most? Where would this be a particularly good fit?
The sources point to oil and gas, heavy manufacturing, utilities, places where machine protection is non-negotiable.
Makes sense.
But really, the implication is broader. Any industry relying on machinery looking to prevent rust, they could see value, especially considering, like you said, the high cost of failure in sectors like oil and gas.
Let's shift to the practical side, application. How easy is it to actually use KORR-GUARD? Do you need special training or gear?
Doesn't sound like it. The sources stress it's pretty straightforward. Just follow the guidelines, make sure you coat the surfaces that need protecting.
Okay.
And you can use standard stuff, brushes, sprayers, rollers, whatever fits the job. No special tools needed, generally.
That ease of use is a definite plus. You mentioned the water displacing tech again. Can you elaborate a bit? Why is that so central?
Sure. Water is basically rust's best friend, right?
Right.
When moisture sits on metal, it kicks off those chemical reactions, corrosion. KORR-GUARD's ability to actively repel water by creating a hydrophobic surface. It essentially removes the catalyst, stops it before it starts.
Oh, okay.
That's especially critical where there's lots of humidity or direct water contact.
Gotcha. Actively pushing the problem away. What about moving parts, though? You need protection, but things still need to move freely.
Yeah, good point. The info addresses that directly. It's formulated to protect those moving parts without hindering them. It forms a protective film, fights the rust, but keeps things moving smoothly and efficiently.
And what about the environment? Big concern these days. How does KORR-GUARD factor that in?
The sources say the formulation considers environmental impact. Aims to minimize the ecological footprint. It suggests they're trying to balance performance with responsibility, maybe using compliant solvents or formulations with lower VOCs.
Okay, let's talk money. The bottom line, is KORR-GUARD an expensive add-on, or does it pay off?
Well, the argument presented is that it's cost-effective in the long run. By preventing rust, it cuts down on maintenance frequency and costs.
Right, avoiding repairs.
Exactly. And by making machinery last longer, you delay expensive replacements. So it's framed as an investment that saves money over time.
A proactive spend to avoid bigger costs later. Okay. Now, corrosion protection, how broad is that? Is it just surface rust, or does it cover tougher stuff too?
It acknowledges, no product stops everything. But KORR-GUARD is described as providing extensive coverage against common damaging types, especially rust. Apparently, it meets some stringent ASTM corrosion tests.
What about how the equipment looks afterwards? Does it leave a thick, obvious coating?
Generally, it leaves a protective film, but the info suggests it doesn't significantly change how the surface looks. Protection without a major aesthetic shift seems to be the goal.
And can you use it with other things, like lubricants or greases you might already be using?
Yes, it's designed to be compatible. You can use your regular lubes and greases alongside KORR-GUARD for an extra layer of protection without interference.
Good to know. Okay, if someone wants to buy it, what are the options? Packaging, where do they go?
Comes in various sizes. They specifically mention a 5-gallon pail for bigger jobs.
Okay.
Wholesale options are there through PEnergy.com for bulk buys. And for smaller orders, just buy it online at PE-energy.com. They also handle international orders with tailored shipping.
So, sounds accessible, big or small, near or far. Once it's on, how long does that protection last? Is it a one-and-done thing?
It's described as long-lasting, but the exact time depends.
On what?
Environmental conditions, mostly. How harsh the environment is and how thickly it was applied. More demanding spots might need reapplication sooner, but it's designed for extended protection generally.
We talked equipment types, but what about the metals themselves? Does it work on different kinds?
Yeah.
Steel, aluminum, etc.
Yeah, the sources highlight its versatility, effective across a wide range of metals, which simplifies things if you've got equipment made of different materials.
Definitely simplifies maintenance. And storing the KORR-GUARD itself, any special requirements?
Just keep it cool and dry. Standard practice, really, helps maintain effectiveness and shelf life.
And drying time after applying.
Yeah.
Need to minimize that disruption.
Good news there. It typically dries within hours, so relatively quick, less downtime for the application process itself.
What if someone has specific questions? Like, how should I use this on my particular machine? Is there support?
Yep, PEnergy.com offers technical support. They can give guidance on best practices and answer application questions.
And quality control. Does it meet industry benchmarks?
The info indicates it meets and often exceeds industry standards for quality and reliability, so there's some assurance there.
What happens if it's not applied right? Any downside to, say, missing a spot or not cleaning first?
Yeah, like any coating, improper application can reduce how well it works. Following the guidelines is important to get that optimal protection.
So user technique matters. Does the company back the product? Any kind of satisfaction guarantee?
PEnergy.com emphasizes commitment to customer satisfaction. They say they stand behind the product's performance when used correctly.
We've heard the claims. Is there proof it works in the real world? Case studies, maybe?
The sources mention numerous case studies exist, showing its effectiveness in tough conditions. Those could offer solid proof of how it performs out in the field.
What about really specific challenges, like salt spray near the coast, marine environments?
Ah, yes. It's specifically noted that it excels in protecting against things like salt spray. Makes it sound particularly suitable for coastal and marine applications where salt corrosion is a huge issue.
That's great for those coastal operations. Are there materials to help teams apply it correctly? Training guides?
Yes. PEnergy.com provides training materials and user guides. Helps ensure effective application for the best results.
Circling back to cost for a second. We know the long-term value argument, but what about the upfront cost per application compared to alternatives?
It can vary, of course, but the core message is that the value from its superior protection offers a strong ROI by preventing costlier issues later. It's about total cost of ownership.
And what are other users saying? Any customer testimonials mentioned?
According to the promotional material, yes. Many satisfied customers apparently vouch for its protective abilities and reliability.
If you're trying to figure out how much KORR-GUARD you need, can they help with that calculation? Avoid buying too much or too little.
Yes, Their team can assist with calculating the right quantity for your specific needs, helps optimize the purchase.
Sounds like solid support. What if you have a really unique situation? Can KORR-GUARD be adapted?
Well, it's presented as versatile, but the sources suggest their experts can provide guidance for specific requirements, implying some level of tailored application advice.
And if there's an issue with an order, shipping mix-up, wrong quantity?
PEnergy.com indicates they're committed to resolving concerns quickly to keep customers satisfied.
Safety first, always. We mentioned the safety data sheet. Any other key handling points?
The main advice is always check that SDS, the safety data sheet. It has all the detailed safety and handling info. We can mention the link again, maybe.
Good idea. We'll make sure that's clear. What if, despite everything, it just doesn't work out for someone's needs? Is there a return policy?
Yes, they offer options for return or exchange if it doesn't meet specific needs.
And for other businesses? Any opportunities to become a distributor or dealer?
Yes, they encourage interested companies to contact their sales team about dealer opportunities.
Shelf life, we touched on it. Is there a concrete time frame if stored right?
The info just says substantial shelf life when stored correctly, so it should last quite a while in the container.
Okay. How does this compare to, say, ceramic coatings? People hear about this for protection, too.
Different approaches. Ceramic coatings offer hard protection, often against scratches, too. KORR-GUARD seems highlighted more for its ease of application specifically for rust prevention and that water displacement feature. Best choice depends on the exact need.
What about smaller operations? Is this economically viable for a small business budget?
It's presented as affordable and scalable, so accessible even for smaller businesses, not just huge corporations.
We notes for corrosion. Does it help at all with abrasive wear? Things rubbing together?
Its main job is corrosion. The sources hint it might offer some minor benefit against abrasive wear effects in some situations, likely due to the film it leaves.
Any package deals? Bundles with other products?
PEnergy.com apparently offers bundle deals, yeah. KORR-GUARD with other JetLube products could be a way to get a more complete solution, maybe save a bit.
We know what it does. Displaces water, prevents rust. Do they say what's in it? The main active ingredient.
It's described as a proprietary blend. So no specific chemical named, just that it's custom formulated for water displacement and protection.
Got it. And if people still have questions after this deep dive, best way to reach out?
The contact page on their website, PEnergy.com, that seems to be the central point.
One last check. Industrial environments often have harsh chemicals floating around. How does KORR-GUARD hold up against chemical exposure?
According to the sources, it undergoes rigorous testing to ensure it's durable against typical industrial chemicals. So, putting it all together, KORR-GUARD comes across as a pretty robust, versatile option for tackling rust and corrosion in all sorts of industrial settings. Key things seem to be ease of use, effectiveness even in tough conditions like heat or salt spray, and that potential for real cost savings by extending equipment life and cutting downtime.
Exactly. We've sifted through the info you gave us, and hopefully this deep dive gives you, our listener, a much clearer handle on KORR-GUARD, what makes it tick, what its main benefits are claimed to be.
So here's something to think about. Considering the potential KORR-GUARD offers for longer equipment life and less downtime, what parts of your current maintenance strategy might be worth rethinking or reevaluating?
Definitely food for thought. If you want to dig deeper yourself, head over to pe-energy.com. That's pe-energy-energy-com. You'll find that safety data sheet, those case studies we talked about, and all the other resources mentioned today.